going on? Welcome in. Thank you for joining us here for Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Howard Bender. I got Andrew Cooper by my side. Coop, I almost screwed up the intro there, right? The tsunami warning going on out here. It was only a test, but still, it kind of threw me for a loop. What is up, dude? Waiver Wire Tuesday just passed. We got Waiver Wire Wednesday here for fantasy football, but more importantly, today's the day you guys get to jam in those start sits, those trade questions, whatever you want. Serve them on up. We appreciate you tuning in, if you're on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button for us, please. If you're watching us on Twitter, just click the link and pop over to YouTube and hit that like button for us there as well. It's not that we're thirsty. It's just that we're feeling a little underappreciated right now. Not really, but we appreciate you guys showing any kind of support. What's up, Coop? What's going on, man?
I'm chilling, man. That tsunami warning you got over there, probably for the tsunami of questions we're about to have today. All the people yesterday that wanted their trades and lineups answered, and we said no. Only waivers on Tuesday. Well, guess what? Waivers have run. Hopefully everyone's waiver dreams came true, and you were showered with the likes of Kareem Hunt and Dontavian Wicks and all the beauties out there. Howard, did you get anybody on waivers? Did you spend any fab? Because we haven't been lately, but I spent a couple seconds.
I spent a few bucks, nothing crazy. So here's the thing, and this is why, again, it's about being proactive. In week 3, when Kareem Hunt signed to the practice squad, I said to everybody, I don't know where he's at physically, mentally. You've got Carson Steele they're giving a shot to. You've got Samaje Perine who handles the pass catching work. So don't go crazy thinking that Kareem Hunt is your league winner. The dude hasn't been relevant for years. I know he had 9 touchdowns last year, but again, you can't sit there and predict touchdowns and what's going to happen. And that was with Cleveland, and that was after, Nick Chubb and whatever. I said don't go crazy. I put in bids everywhere for Kareem Hunt, but I did it 10 to 12%. Nothing major. I got him in a mad, crazy number of leagues. So I'm good there. So I was able to focus my attention this time around. Dontavian Wicks.
I had to, Howard, before we move on from Kareem Hunt, I had to spend up for him in one league. I think I spent.
What'd you spend?
I think I spent like 28, which isn't crazy. But here's the thing. This is a rare, it was like a keeper league where things kind of worked out in a certain way, where it was a rare 0 RB team for me. Okay. And the Piper's coming for Zach. They already took my Zach Charbonnet away. Kenneth Walker looks amazing, right? Zach Charbonnet was a hero for a little while there. The Piper's coming for my Jerome Fords and my Chuba Hubbards, which I've been very happy about it so far. But Nick Chubb, the practice window, go on your Twitter sphere and type in the word practice window, and you can see all these guys that are potentially coming off the PUP list. For those that don't know, 4 games, all those guys, the Kendrick Bournes and the Nick Chubbs, their practice window is opening. That means they have 21 days to get fully activated. A couple guys haven't been activated. Jonathan Brooks didn't. So
that's the big one. That's a big one there.
Chuba lives to die another day.
Chuba lives to die another day. Right. I mean, more than a day. Chuba's probably good to go for another 2, possibly even 3 weeks. I don't know where Jonathan Brooks is at, but knowing how Dave Canales wants to utilize him and how he uses the running game, I think they want to make sure that Brooks is 100% good to go. And if they don't feel like he's at that level right now, they're like, Chuba's run like a champ for the last 2 weeks.
Exactly. So in that league, I have Brooks stashed on IR.
Oh, perfect.
The problem is Zamir White face planted. He was my hero RB wherever I took him. So I'm sitting there and it's like Charbonnet, Chuba. I got Bucky Irving, who's about to be startable for me. But then the other guys I stashed, Jalen Wright, Marshawn Lloyd, didn't really come to fruition. So I looked at Kareem Hunt and I was like, boy, Kareem Hunt, for a couple of these bye weeks especially, he's going to be a star player for the Strawberita Cheetahs for a couple of weeks here.
The Strawberita Cheetahs? Is that what we're going to
That's right. The Strawberita Cheetahs just took down John and Pemba's Here's Johnny team last week in that league. So hot team right now, but we have some papering to do over the RB.
What is that team?
Johnny's team is my team.
No. Your team. What was the adjective you just used?
papering. We're wallpapering over this. AOOTTO. Yeah, we're hot to go, baby. I mean, I got Marvin Harrison. I have Chris Godwin. Amari Cooper, Drake London. I got wide receivers all over the place. I have Lamar Jackson. I need some running backs. So sometimes you got to do that. Folks out there, if you still have questions about ad drops, if you have questions about trades, if you have questions about lineups today, a la carte, whatever you want, dude. We're just here to help you guys with your leagues. And thank you guys for joining us because you're supporting us. You're helping us out by being here today, hitting that like and subscribe. I see the regulars in the chat, and Dunn hanging out, Noah, Mile High Luke, Hal's waving,
Yeah,
Fatty
people were
McFat.
in super early today also. So I mean,
Okay.
let me go back and let's hit a couple of the questions here that went through. Then we can get all braggadocious about how and why we all ended up with Duntavian Wicks, Romeo Dubs, and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Let's go. Let's go, boo.
I will say I did have to pick up Joe Flacco.
I don't know. In my mind, that one time Antonio Brown tweeted and called him Boo Boo Schuster or whatever it is, it just so stuck in my
He
mind. I'm
hates
like,
him so
I
much.
gotta add Boo Boo Schuster. But hey, you know what? Boo Boo Schuster could be getting a lot of those wide receiver screens moving forward. Team led the league in wide receiver screens last year. Somebody's got to pick those up. It's not going to be Justin Watson. So hey, maybe.
All right, let's get to it right now here. We'll dive right in. We'll come back because we've got other stuff. I mean, listen, Thursday night football tomorrow night. We're going to talk about that. We're going to make some underdog pick'em picks. I don't know if Coop's bringing back the tackle monster, but he brought it back for the fantasy alarm show on Friday.
We're gonna do Tackle Monster. We'll do Tackle Monster tomorrow on the Fantasy Alarm show.
Oh,
Underdog doesn't have any tackle numbers up.
really?
Yeah, they got nothing. Maybe it'll come out, but we'll focus on that one for the Sirius XM show. So tune in tomorrow if you want the Tackle Monster. We're doing it. We'll do it in the first half of the show before the game kicks off. But yeah, Underdog letting us. They're scared out. We made too much moolah on the Tackle Monster.
On the tackle monster last year, no
They don't
doubt.
want it. Yeah, they don't want the smoke.
All right, let's get to it here. Shane F wants to know, trade Kamara and Garrett Wilson for Breece Hall and Jaden Reed. Pretty much got this offer on the table, not sure what to do. I think the Jets are an interesting situation here because I'm so out on the Jets right now because I hate what's going on there as a fan. And all these rumors of Devontae Adams, it's just making the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson that much more contentious, in my opinion. So on the other side, though, you've got selfish Aaron Rodgers. And what happens if he's got Lazard and Devontae Adams there? Is he ever going to want to hand the ball off to Breece Hall?
Yeah.
This is a problem situation for me. So it makes me want to just hold Kamara, but maybe you got a different thought.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just sticking tight just because with Jaden Reed, I mean, I love Jaden Reed this week. Matchup's good for him, but he's not the alpha in the way that a lot of these other guys are. Like he's not like one of these like 10, 12. Like Malik Neighbors is a guy that gets 15, 18 targets. That's not quite Jaden Reed. He's more like a Debo Samuel type guy where it's like they're gonna get him 5, 6, 7 targets, and then you wonder where the fantasy points come from, and you realize this guy's getting 2, 3 carries a game and they're really scheming him up. So I just feel like Garrett Wilson still has the possibility of that alpha level of play. But you're right, the Devontae Adams trade is scary, but it's scary for everybody. It's not just scary for Wilson; it's scary for Breece Hall because you need those targets for Breece Hall now with Braylon Allen breathing down his neck.
Dude, it's scary for the Jets as we sit and continue to ostracize our two best young stars. That's so Jets.
Classic. I mean, dude, culture matters. Look at Devontae Adams right now, just in general.
I don't even want to. It's such I'm not going to lie to you. It is such a sore spot for me because it's the same old thing with the Jets. The definition of insanity is trying the same old thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. This is no different than Brett Favre 2.0, except you're capitulating to Rodgers even more so by having Nathaniel Hackett as your offensive coordinator and letting him dictate who's getting the football.
Right.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Can I say one thing? Not from the Jets side, just from the Raiders side. One thing.
Go.
I got to say, you got to feel stupid as ownership and as GMs for keeping the players coach, whose one job was to keep the players happy. And you have a 2-2 team, a 500 team, and this guy's going to shoot his way off the team. Like you beat the Ravens this year, a 2-2 team. This guy doesn't even want to play for you. I mean, Antonio Pierce, how could you possibly keep that guy as coach moving forward?
You know what? How could you even want him? He was so clearly in it for the money. He wasn't looking for a championship. You don't sign with the Raiders unless you're getting paid a crap ton of money and you don't care about winning a championship. That's the problem. I mean, he can go to the Jets all he wants, but you know what? I mean, it's not because he wants to, because he's looking to win a title with the Jets. It's because he's like, oh, well, Aaron Rodgers just give me the football and that'll just keep padding my stats.
Targets.
It's gross. Yeah. It's gross all around, Coop. It's good.
Yes.
I'd almost rather you talk about Drake May than to me talk about the Jets.
Well, while we're talking about Drake May, no, I'm kidding. Well, we don't have to talk Drake May.
And immediately I go to Ruckus's question.
What do you got, Ruckus?
DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir for Amari Cooper. He likes Cooper's schedule for the next 4 weeks.
I mean, the thing is, DJ Moore for Amari Cooper is already a 1-for-1 trade that I almost would rather have DJ Moore. I mean, like, I know Cooper's gotten like 34 targets, but, and again, it's a good matchup this week, but why do you also have to give up Shakir?
Yeah.
Like DJ Moore has what, 38 targets? Something like I mean, like these two guys are both on pace for well over 125 targets, which is the threshold we're looking for the possibility of being a wide receiver one, right? Every wide receiver one except Nico got 125. Like this should be a 1-for-1 trade more for Cooper. Not you shouldn't be giving up Shakir, who, I know he's not on pace for 100 targets. He's barely on pace for 80, but he's leading his team in targets. And that team is going to have game scripts where they have to throw. They're not going to just blow out the Jaguars or get blown out by the Ravens every week. There's going to be normal games coming.
Simple fact, just ask for like a backup depth running back. Ask for like a different tight end, whatever the case may be. Don't do another receiver because, again, 2 for 2 at wide receiver. You're saying these wide receivers are better than this wide receiver. So if DJ Moore and Amari Cooper are right there on the same level, just get back like a little slice of like a backup RB, right? Get like a Blake Corum or a Ray Davis, somebody who you can just kind of like hang out and keep on the side. And maybe if something happens, it happens with them. But get a little something.
Amari Cooper had one good game. Do we even necessarily rank?
He should have had that 82-yard touchdown last week. I know it was only comes out as like 5 for 35 or something like that. But that 82-yard touchdown, that was not a holding penalty. It was
whack.
A garbage call. It came out late. I mean, it was like, how do you throw it into the backfield like that for a holding call against an offensive lineman? Like 5 minutes after Amari Cooper catches the ball and is running for a touchdown.
It was whack.
That was a bad call right there.
It is funny how that happens with this small sample size sport. The one I look at, Howard, and I know you had a video out on him this week on potentially buying Kyle Pitts. I look at Kyle Pitts. And he had the 50-yard play. He gets tackled at the 1-yard line. And then at the end of the game, there's the play where Brian Cook just tackles him in the end zone. And everybody saw the pass interference, and it would have been a touchdown. Had he scored that touchdown, in half PPR, he's tight end 7, and everyone doesn't care. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how small the sample sizes are here. If that dude doesn't get away with pass interference, Kyle Pitts, nobody cares. But now people are dropping him to waivers.
It's one of the perils of not watching the games on Sunday. If you're not watching the games, you need to put your trust into people who are actually watching the games. We've said that for years at Fantasy Alarm. If you can't watch them yourselves, trust in somebody who is watching them. Like, if your fantasy analyst is like sitting there, sending out pictures of the brunch that he's eating in the middle of the day on Sunday, right? Do you want that? Or do you want somebody who's like in the trenches like we are?
I'm just saying. I tortured myself watching all 22 of the Jets-Patriots game. Just to tweet out a picture of Jacoby.
Noah Hartman wants to know. We're never going to get through the questions, Coop. We're never going to get through them all. We're buried. One quarterback dynasty league. Started out 4-0. Now he's 4-4. Still top 3 max in points. When do you decide to pull the trigger on win now moves? Have deals like Ayuk for my first or my Brian Thomas Jr. plus a first for Amon-Ra St. Brown?
In Dynasty, I'm personally always win now, especially if you're 4-0. 4-4, so they must be doing. Yeah, okay. So
it's 2-2. So he's lost the last 2.
I always play to win. So if you can trade your first for Ayuk, I do that immediately. I mean, even first round picks have a 50-50 hit rate. You got to remember that. That, like, I guess if the pick is going to be 101, then maybe you're locked into a Marvin Harrison or a Malik Neighbors. But there isn't even a Marvin Harrison or Malik Neighbors every year. There was a year I was the 101 and I was picking between Corey Davis and like John Ross. Like, so make the trade, win the league, and move on with your life.
Beautiful. Noah also wants to know, is he crazy to bench Achane for in his flex for either Shaheed, Brian Thomas Jr., or Keenan Allen?
I'm not going to start Keenan Allen because he's got his issues of his own, but I don't think it's crazy to potentially bench Achane given the circumstances. The thing is, they're playing the Patriots, so I think Achane might be fine this week. We like Shaheed, we like BTJ, but they're not like locked in either, Howard. So I don't know. I think I might just stick with Achane.
Yeah, I like getting the touches. I like guaranteed touches. That's why I always end up favoring running backs to wide receivers. There's a certain level where you do pivot off of that, but with Raheem Mostert dealing with the chest injury, and clearly McDaniel doesn't think that Jalen Wright is like super ready for prime time right now, Achane's going to get that work. They just need to sort out that quarterback situation. And this weekend against New England is going to be actually a positive thing for them because it's not a tough opponent. Not at all.
And also worth mentioning, Achane, the only back like ever that they said was going to play slot, and he is. Achane this past week he had 44 snaps, 22 in the backfield, 22 at wide receiver. So they're going to find ways to get that guy the ball.
Let's move on over here. Eric wants to know half point PPR. He needs 2: McLaurin, Flowers, and Ford. Which 2? Who's starting for you here, Coop?
Can't go away from Ford right now, especially with the matchup he has this week. They have a good matchup against Washington. So you got to go Ford, and then I'll probably go with McLaurin. Like the past 2 weeks, the Ravens have completed 12 and 13 passes, and they're running against the Bills and the Cowboys. They're going to run all over the Bengals, man.
Yeah,
they're going to run all over them. I don't know if they're going to need to throw much again.
Shout out to Eric, who's rolling out A-Rich again this week. 5-0, here we come. A-Rich or die trying. I love that, man. I love that. I saw that Shane Steichen was like, he said something to the effect of he's feeling much, much better right now, this oblique issue. So, yeah. I mean, I picked up Flacco just in case, but I've got A-Rich in a ton of spots too.
Also, that's another one where you watch the game. If you go back and watch it, I went back and watched Anthony Richardson. Those first 2 drives, he was awesome. He led like a 70-yard touchdown drive, and if he didn't get hurt, he was about to do it again. Like he looked good for once. And then now we're jumping off now? No way.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. All right. Michelle's in the house. What's up, Michelle? PPR start 2-2 or try Tyreek one more time.
Dude,
this is where we've gotten to. Oh my!
I'm telling you right now, I would rather step in front of a train than start 2-2 over Tyreek Hill. I cannot and will not do it. I cannot and will not ever do that. I can't do it.
I cannot either.
2-2 is not even a bad start. I just cannot click the button to put him in over Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I will give it another go here because I do think that Tyreek Hill, Tyler Huntley, finds a better way. Like they have to find a better way. And you're going up against a weaker team in New England. I know everybody's like, oh, the Patriots defense, This is not the same Patriots defense. It really isn't. And anybody who feared Christian Gonzalez, look at how many times that dude's nickname is Toast right now, the way he's been getting burnt.
Exactly. And even the defenders are coming out, and maybe it's because it's a new regime, but I saw reports this week that guys are like not sticking to their assignments, and they're trying to play hero ball and do all this stuff, and that's when big plays happen. And Tyreek Hill is a guy that makes you pay big time when you give him any amount of space. So
let's go to Ann Dunn here. Wants to know what we're doing with Bijan this week. I've got Rashad also on Thursday, or Javonte, or Emmanuel Wilson. I think it's a matter of just kind of waiting and seeing what the Falcons are saying. A split workload for Bijan against Tampa is probably better than a split workload for Rashad White. And then the question is do you like Javonte at home or a shared workload again for Emmanuel Wilson? Like in this case here, I think if Bijan's good to go, I'm using him.
Right, exactly. Like we're worried Bijan's workload went from 90% down to 64%. That doesn't mean we jump ship to 35% Emmanuel Wilson, as much as I like Emmanuel Wilson. So It's got to be Bijan. I do like Javonte this week, fine, but it's Bijan for sure.
Yeah, me too. Ann says, in another league, Bijan could start Charbonnet, Chase Brown, or Javonte. Same answer.
Same answer, yeah.
Same answer. Noah Hartman says, Scary Terry, a buy, sell, or hold. I have him in PPR. To me, he's a hold.
Right. Or even a buy. If I had to pick a hold, and if I had to pick buy or sell, it's buy. I mean, statistically and also eye test wise, Jaden Daniels looks like a pretty good quarterback. I'll tell you. I mean, the numbers are crazy on like his drives that lead to scoring versus just incomplete passes. Like this guy rocks.
I mean, he's going to get tested and he's going to make some rookie mistakes. It always happens, especially now that like people are like throwing his name out there as a possible MVP candidate. Like when that kind of crap happens, that's when you immediately turn around and you're like, the dude's going to crumble. Like nobody goes out there and they start getting these like early, total amazing, MVP candidates, and they don't kind of like get stuck in their head a little bit. That's just natural.
Right. In these games where they crumble, though, I mean, that's just going to mean more huck chuck at Terry McLaurin because, I mean, the next best wide receiver over there is probably Zach Ertz. It's like Noah Brown is contributing, but it's not like there's somebody else that is just going to come on and step up. Like it's Terry or nothing.
Right. What do we got? DM7819 says he feels weird asking this question. Well, you know what? It's good to feel weird every once in a while. Pat Mahomes or Brock Purdy this week?
Yeah, it's a legitimate question because Purdy gets the Cardinals, Mahomes
gets the Saints.
It's Saints, but it's still Mahomes. It's still Mahomes for me. You have the rest of the if this new look Chiefs offense looks terrible with a week of game planning with no Rashee Rice, you got the rest of the year to start Purdy.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention the fact that, everybody just, thinks, you got a big point total that San Francisco is just going to be chucking the ball all over Arizona. Probably not. If anything, you run against Arizona, which, gets me all in on Jordan Mason. All in on Jordan Mason.
Good QBs figure it out.
Yeah. Noah says he finally got his fiance in this year. So her 8-team family league. Is she good trusting Moss if JT is out, or should she drop Ladd McConkey or Dobbins for Hunt? Well, I'll drop Ladd McConkey for Hunt anyway, but I still think you're good with Zach Moss.
I think you're still good with Zach Moss for sure. And again, in those 8-team leagues, same advice as always, 2-for-1s and focus on upside. Because there's going to be guys all over the wire just hanging out that are usable. So always try to do 2-for-1 trades and focus on upside. Like if Hunt is on the wire just sitting there after waivers ran, I'd start looking around trying to do a 2-for-1 trade because those bench spots, the empty bench spots, are super valuable.
Yeah, I like it. Let's see. Mile High Luke. Curious of your take on the Broncos backfield again. Beatty seemed to be the first back on the field last week. Then they seemed like they're trying to replace Javonte. Estime coming off of IR next week. I don't know if Estime, did they open the practice window on Estime? I did not see whether or not they did or not.
I didn't see it. I also, do we have a report on what happened with Tyler Beatty? He
I know he collapsed on the field. I don't know what the exact situation is, but I still think that this belongs to Javonte. And Javonte saw the majority of the touches last week.
Good.
Why against the Jets? Why wouldn't they at home, for this game here against the Raiders, who don't have a strong run defense at all?
Right. I mean, you talk about it. It's like the guy was challenged to play, had 5 yards to carry. He looked good. Like, let it roll. See what happens.
Yeah. Here we go. Jelly of the month. Boysenberry. Orange marmalade.
I'm more of a rat.
Tyrone Tracy. With Singletary banged up, I mean, if it depends on who you're dropping, right? I mean, you're adding Tyrone Tracy just as like depth. I'm not saying that you pick him up and you start him this week, not against Seattle.
Yeah, no, that's getting a little too cute. I mean, Tyrone Tracy to me is a sit. Singletary's a sit anyway for me, even if he plays. So Tyrone Tracy, we don't love that either. Seattle top 5 DVOA against the run. So it's not like you're starting a risky play against a good spot. You're starting a risky play in a bad spot.
Put him on, Coop. Twitch gang in the house. Shiesty AW wants to know who some of your trade targets are that he can get for Tyreek Hill. He's weak at running back. If you're trading Tyreek Hill at his absolute lowest value, mistake number one.
Right.
But number two, if you were to try and do that, Coop, where would you go running back wise?
Right. So you think of it this way, right? You got to, I split the difference because with Tua healthy, which could happen down the stretch, we're talking about a top 5 player. With him out, we're talking about a guy that I can't find a way to rank inside of my top 20. So I'm looking for a running back that I get back. This needs to be a high-end RB2 at the worst. I'm talking like make a list of rankings, and if this guy isn't ranked in the top 15, then don't do it. Because you probably still have a wide receiver that's ranked like 20, 24 that could be top 5, right? So I'm not making that move unless I'm getting back somebody that's going to be in my lineup every single week. We're talking like I need to get back. I mean, I got to get back like maybe not necessarily like Josh Jacobs, but like where we draw the line. You need like, are you going to trade him for like Chuba Hubbard or Jerome Ford, who are expiring assets? One of these split backfield guys, like you're going to trade him for Zach Moss right now. Like you really have to get somebody back that you can trust.
Yeah, agreed. My high Luke wants to know if Zeke ends up with a bigger role later in the season, or should I just cut bait for a higher upside player?
He's trending in the wrong direction. Yeah. And again, this is, if you're going to go for guys that usually increase roles as we move are younger guys, right? It's like rookies and guys that are getting a chance out of somewhere. It's not usually like they don't usually take the veteran, phase him out by week 4, and then turn around and say, "Oh, let's ramp him up." I mean, that'd be, I guess it could happen, but it would be pretty strange and rare. I think Rico Dowdle is kind of the guy now.
Agreed. Kevin Mason says, Anthony Richardson or Sam Darnold this week?
Yeah, so we often on this show talk about some must start, must sit guys. I kind of have Sam Darnold in my must sit situation. I really don't want to start him against the Jets. He doesn't have we like Darnold for his good matchups and when he has later when Hawkinson and Addison are all ramped up. Jets corners are just good, man. Rodgers slows the game down. There's too many viable options out there. Just start Richardson.
It's also a London game. You'd never know how teams are going to react to the travel or anything like that.
Wonky game.
Wonky indeed. You know what? Let's take a quick breather here from the start sit questions, because you just said must starts, must sits. We've got a couple of them here. So Coop, give me a couple of must starts versus some must sits this week. Who do you got?
Yeah. So while we're talking about Richardson, whether it's Richardson or Flacco, there were spots where I had Michael Pittman out of my lineup. Last week, luckily, I had him back in there because he did really well. Against Jacksonville, their safeties have been brutal. I think this is a great spot for Michael Pittman. Maybe Alec Pierce steals the long one at some point, which would be annoying, but I think this is a really good spot for Michael Pittman against Antonio Johnson and Andre Cisco. And if it is Flacco, then it's even better spot for him. But Richardson can get him the ball just fine. So I'm in on him. I already mentioned that I do like Javonte Williams this week against the Raiders. And I also actually mentioned that I like Amari Cooper. I mean, why not just if it keeps working, Howard, why not keep doing it? Number 1 wide receivers against Washington. Last week was a weird game script, but I think this game could end up being a shootout, and Watson is at least throwing the ball his way. So those are my kind of must starts. What do you got?
For me, a couple of must starts. Listen, if Joe Mixon is back, you get him in your lineup. For anybody out there who's like, oh, well, he's banged up, maybe they keep Cam Akers going or whatever, just look at what happened with Kenneth Walker versus Zach Charbonnet this past week. That's all I can say. If Mixon's there, you run him against Buffalo. I also like running Alexander Madison against the Denver Broncos. I think that's a positive move for everybody who's if you went 0 RB or you're dealing with bye week injuries or whatever it might be. Madison is a guy who I like, and then I'm still gonna hold out some hope to hear that Trevor Lawrence puts it together. I know that the Colts upset the Steelers last week, Coop, but it's still not a great team in Indianapolis, and I think that their defense is a little soft. We saw what Justin Fields did to him. I think Lawrence in a desperate situation can pass on them easily.
Yeah, not to mention I saw some stats that basically showed that Lawrence has kind of just been missing a little bit, but the number one, and I got to, I think it was, I think it was Jacob Gibbs that posted this, and I'll retweet whoever did it after the show just to make sure everybody sees it because it's really good work. But Christian Kirk currently leads all wide receivers in separation, and Brian Thomas Jr. is also top 5. So these guys are getting open. It's only a matter of time before Trevor Lawrence starts hitting on some of these throws, and we're going to see some big games for Trevor Lawrence. He's kind of a buy low type guy for me. You mentioned that you're starting Alexander Madison. In my must sits, I got Zamir White. Things are just trending in the wrong direction for White, and he was super inefficient before, and he does not catch the ball. This is going all the way back to college, and Denver is quietly a top 5 defense in like DVOA and in scoring, and they're top 5 against the run, which is just, I mean, it's just not a good spot for Zamir White. Also, the like over there with the Raiders, like our pets' heads are falling off. I really don't see this team going out and just winning in a way that Zamir White gets a ton of carries. Like, I think it's just a disaster. I mentioned I'm sitting Sam Darnold already, and I actually already mentioned that I'm sitting Devin Singletary against Seattle. It's another team that's quietly pretty good against the run. And they're honestly, last week against Detroit, I don't know what happened. This team has generally been a pretty good defense with Tariq Woolen and everybody, so I expect them to have a bit of a bounce back here.
Yeah, I'm sitting Kirk Cousins on Thursday Night Football against Tampa Bay, and we'll talk about some underdog picks that we've got here as well. I'm sitting him. Again, there are other options out there who are more confident on the field and more successful on the field. I'll take a Geno Smith or a Trevor Lawrence before I'll put in Kirk Cousins. Actually, I'm out on the Jets wide receivers until we get this whole thing sorted out. Not to mention the fact that Minnesota secondary, got to respect it, right? You got to respect Stephon Gilmore. Was it Shaq Griffin on the other side there? Yeah. Right? I mean, you can't.
It's there. They've been good, man. Harrison Bryant even looks
Bryant, yeah.
Still. So, I mean, that defense is good, man. Andrew Van Ginkel, high motor player, they say. So, I don't know. How often does a team trade away their best pass rusher in the off season? They traded him to Houston and then turn around and look like one of the best defenses in the league. I don't know. Addition by subtraction, I guess.
Addition by subtraction. Then finally, Rico Dowdle. I'm pretty soft on him this week. I know that he's seen an uptick. If you have to start him, then you start him. Like, you start him over like anybody who's getting like a half share. But Pittsburgh's run defense has been absolutely spectacular right now. And you have to respect the fact that they're limiting I think I want to say like 70 yards per game right now or something like that.
It's brutal. It's brutal, man. And I'll tell you, that's the difference between the Tuesday show and the Wednesday show. On the Tuesday show, we tell you, hey, there's only one starting running back. There's only maybe 2 starting running backs that might be on the wire, Rico Dowdle and Kareem Hunt. Now on Wednesday, we got to tell you whether you can start those guys or not. I like having Rico Dowdle on my bench for when I need him. Like, if you have bye weeks and injuries, you might need him. But starting against the Steelers, nah, we're not trying. I'm not going out of my way to do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Question to the chat here from Ann Dunn. It's Drake London or Terry McLaurin. I think that this is the absolute perfect time here, Coop, to discuss with everybody a little underdog here, a little Thursday Night Football, and this QR code that's right above Coop's shoulder. Coop, point to it, man, so everybody can see that right there. If you want to jump in on that action, or go to fantasyalarm.com/underdog, use the promo code ALARM, and you'll get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. All right. And they're going to give you a free pick too. I know the free pick for Thursday Night Football is Kirk Cousins, half a yard, rushing, receiving, passing. He's barely going to go over on that one. But still,
yeah, it'll be there.
We got to talk higher or lower here. Make a couple of picks here for underdog for Thursday Night Football. It's Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Atlanta Falcons. Coop, what is your underdog pick of the day?
First, I just have to prove to everyone that I was not lying last week. We do have a big underdog logo. All right, everyone who is mean to me. Everyone who's mean to me in the comments, it does exist. There it is. Okay. So click that QR code. You can't miss it. Okay. My pick for this week, they don't have the tackle monster. They're scared of us. We're too sharp on those. What they do have is they have some Bucky Irving stats, and they have his reception total at 1.5, which so far this year, Bucky has not been catching a lot of passes. He's been mixing in on rundowns. The thing is, this guy was the number one pass catching back in this class, had a season with 50 receptions, which in college is basically 1,000, right? So when you look at his usage so far, it's been a lot of mixing it on rundowns. Last week, though, Rashad White ran 24 routes. Bucky Irving ran 19. That's the closest. I mean, Bucky's been running like 4 or 5, and every once in a while he's getting some targets. He even had a game where he got 3 targets and caught 3. 1.5 catches, 2 catches is all we need. I want to go higher on that one.
I like that. I like that. Listen, anything for me for Bucky Irving. The last 3 weeks, Drake London has had 6 catches, right? He had 12 targets last time, 9 the week before that, 7 the week before that, and he's come down with 6 catches. I think that this Tampa Bay defense definitely better than what they faced so far, right? I mean, as far as like corners go, I mean, it was a good game against the Saints, but I think the Saints kind of, pissed down their own leg more than the Falcons won that game.
Right.
5.5 receptions for Drake London after 3 straight weeks of 6. I'm going to say lower. How about that?
Yeah,
right? Everybody likes going higher. I'm telling you, for whatever reason, I just don't believe. I'm having a tough time believing in this Falcons offense right now. I'm having a tough time believing in Kirk Cousins. I think that this division is wide open, but I think Tampa Bay has the better team overall and wants to extend their lead, right? They're 3-1. Falcons are 2-2. I'm a little concerned for the Falcons here. And I also think that, when you're splitting the workload, maybe between Bijan and Tyler Algier, you're going to try and run a little heavier, especially if Vita Vea is out or banged up again in the middle. So I'm going to say lower than 5.5 receptions for Drake London.
There you go, folks. So take those 2. Take the Kirk Cousins freebie, 0.5 yards of any kind, which he's going to have. Throw those all in there and make yourself some moolah over at Underdog. Use promo code ALARM now. Just hit the QR code. I mean, you can't miss that QR code. I told you guys it existed. Okay. So, vindicated, of course, this week after, quite an embarrassment last week. So let's get back to it. And yeah, that was a weird game last week with that's the first time I think I've ever seen a punt muff that resulted in a touchdown because you can't advance punts, but Rashid Shaheed somehow made it happen. I don't know why he tried to high point that ball at the 2-yard line on a punt, but I don't know, that really screwed the whole game script up for that game, and Falcons ended up winning. But I'm with you. I got the Bucs winning this week.
So, Ann, in response to your question of London versus McLaurin, I'm saying McLaurin.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And I love Drake London. I really do. I just don't have confidence in this Atlanta team right now.
Yeah, I think they come back, get the ball to Pitts a little more. And Cousins does love himself some Mooney. So I know that London's got 12 targets over the last 2 games, but I think it's still going to be spread out.
Angie Hatfield in the house. What's up, Angie? Would you play Jaden Daniels over Kyler Murray? I don't see why you wouldn't.
I had a hard time not ranking Jaden Daniels at 1. I think I still inevitably ranked Josh Allen at 1, but I think I have Jaden Daniels ranked at QB2 this week. And in my heart, Howard, he's 1.
In your heart? Oh, okay.
In my heart, he's 1. But then when I really started crunching the numbers and doing the math and stuff, I had to rank Josh Allen at 1.
New face in here, Paul B. Had no idea that we did this. He's always listening on Sirius. Well, here you go, Paul. Me and Coop, in addition to Thursday and Friday on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio. And it's going to be more, actually, once the baseball playoffs kind of move into the championship series. But here you go. He and I are here every single Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page, which does also stream on X. Appreciate you joining us here. Adam Weber in the house wants to know Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence, 6-point passing TDs. I actually have them both in the watch list this week, Coop. Both.
Yeah, I think I have them ranked back to back at 14 and 15. But this week I'm starting Deshaun Watson. I think that with that Washington secondary, I think this could get into shootout mode here. And I think we'll see. I mean, I do worry that Watson, a guy that he was already a low velocity guy, maybe the shoulder issues have caught up to him, but I don't know. I think Jerry Jeudy's been playing fine. Amari Cooper can make it happen. I'm going Watson.
C-Dog wants to know what's going on with the Chubb news today. When will he play? Listen, they opened up the practice window. They've got 21 days to put him onto the active roster or IR him for the rest of the way. you just have to wait and see. He's not start. I don't know if he's startable this week. They just opened up the practice window. You'll have to just kind of track the progress that he's made, but something tells me maybe Cleveland gets him out there next week, week 6, maybe week 7. When's Cleveland's bye week, Coop?
It's not. I looked it up. It's not until week 10. So
okay.
he has to play or be put on season-ending IR. They can't just say, "Oh, we're going to take him. We're going to have him out for an extra bye." Like he has to play before then.
So you just got to wait and see. Be patient, Sea-Dog. You drafted him knowing he was going to start the season on IR. So this is the time. Now you just sit and wait.
I'm excited.
Ayush Singh wants to know, would you guys start Dobbs or Chase Brown? He's also starting Jaden Reed. Bye weeks messed him up. Well, I mean, I don't want to start 2 Packers wide receivers here, but
I
Chase
do.
Brown?
I do want to start 2 of them.
Okay.
Against we got the Rams, baby. We got the Rams. 48-point over under. You can never have too many good wide receivers with a good quarterback back. Christian Watson's out. Dontavian Wicks is, like he's a good player. He had a couple bad drops last week, but came in and made some plays. I think that Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed are going to be just fine.
All right, here we go. Maverick wants to know, need one, Tank Dell, Dontavian Wicks, or Keon Coleman?
So we got to see what the deal with Tank Dell's health is. I want to start Tank Dell, but if not, it's Dontavian Wicks. Keon Coleman, for those unaware, he was late to a meeting as a rookie, and he got benched for an entire first quarter of a game the week before last, and then this past week found himself in a rotation. So as a guy that already only has 9, 10, maybe 11 targets on the season through 4 games, now he's in a rotation. Nah, man, not looking so good for Keon. So yeah, it's either Dell or Wicks. What do you think, Howard? Dell? I think I'm leaning Dell, but Wicks is, of course.
I would lean Dell just depending on how healthy he is. It's a great matchup. We know that there's going to be some back and forth there. I would definitely be into it, but if he's not 100%, then Dontavian Wicks is the way I'm going to go there.
Yeah, see what people are saying. You got time. That game's on Sunday, obviously.
What about the running back situation here? Justice Hill, Zach Charbonnet, or Tyler Algier? I think we've seen what Kenneth Walker can do, so I'm leaning towards Algier or Hill. What about you?
I think it's got to be Algier, just because you got apparently Bijan not only had the shoulder, the AC joint thing, then he picked up a hamstring, I guess. So Algier's kind of locked into like 30-40%, including possible goal line work, whereas Justice Hill is like a pass down back for a team that doesn't like passing to the running back, which is kind of it's a kind of a yucky spot.
Yeah. Greg Martinez wants to know, why do you hate the Redskins so much, Bender? Is it personal? Greg, why are you so racist that you're calling them the Redskins?
No such team, Greg.
There is no such team whatsoever. It's not that, and I'll just say this. It's not that I don't hate any team out there, unless you want to talk baseball, and then I can talk about the Mets and tell you how much I hate them. I do hate the Patriots. All right.
Fair.
I know. It's not that, you know what it is? It's not that I dislike a team. I've just been talking about how much I love Terry McLaurin. I like Brian Robinson. It's the hype that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Jaden Daniels is doing amazing things right now, but am I hoisting him onto my shoulders and declaring him as an MVP candidate right now because he had 2 good games as a rookie? No, I don't buy into that. Why? Because I've been dissecting football from a fantasy angle for 2 decades now, and I've seen what the hype train does and what it brings, and I see how people get fish hooked into so many of these situations, and I see people be like, oh man, I can't believe it. You told me to start this guy or whatever, because I warned you.
Yeah, I'm telling you guys, look, Howard Bender especially has been doing this for too long to fall into that hype business. And you guys got to realize that on Twitter, which is one of the main hubs for this information, the algorithm wants positive wave surfing hype stuff. So there are a lot of analysts that will look and see that the Green Bay Packers attempted 54 passes last week, and they won't care. They'll just say, oh, Tucker Kraft got 9 targets. Tucker Kraft wheels up, candles and high fives all around, and the algorithm pushes that in your face, and you're like, oh, I have to get this guy. The same thing happened with Cole Kmet the week before. It's like, we're trying to be realistic on this show and on the radio show, because we don't care about the algorithm. We care about you guys winning your fantasy league. So I know it's fun to get swept up in the hype and and the ESPN, oh boy, Jaden Daniels, hoist him up. It's like we got to be realistic about what it all translates to from this week to next week. All right. You know what I mean? So the Tucker Crafts and Kate Ottens of the world, it's awesome when the team throws 59 times and they get 7 targets, but everybody on the team got 59 targets because that's how it worked. So this week we get back to reality. I love Jaden Daniels. I said in my heart I want to rank him 1, but I got to rank him 2 because Josh Allen's awesome. There's a lot of awesome quarterbacks.
Rod Elliott wants to know, are we still rolling pits? Can't believe I fell into that trap again. I mean, we all kind of fell into it right now. And, of the top targets for, tight ends, the top 5 are not doing well. We get that. But you know what? The rest of the position isn't doing well either. So
right. People are blowing me up. They're like, move Travis Kelce down. I'm like, dude, who are you going to move up? Who do you want me to put ahead of him? I'm like, Dallas Goedert's on bye week, right? Trey McBride was out. I'm like, who exactly do you want to move ahead of this guy? There's nobody to move ahead. And the reality with Kyle Pitts, I said it at the top of the show. If Brian Cook doesn't tackle him in the end zone, then he scores an obvious touchdown and he's tight end 7 on the season and everybody doesn't care. He has 1 game in his entire career where he didn't catch a pass, and it was this past week. And everyone's freaking out. And Raheem Morris said it best. Hey, they won the game. He said stats are for losers. Guess what? This week he's probably going to come back. All the sports books are suggesting that they still have his numbers set at 30 plus yards and 4 receptions. It's like he's probably going to come back and have a decent game. And if you dropped him or you moved on to the hot item that doesn't have that kind of upside, I can do nothing for you, son.
All right. Mile High Luke says that Fields is available in 1 league. He's got Kyler Murray, not too many holes in the squad, so shoring up QB has value. What are you going to throw in fab percentage there? I mean, you don't need the guy, but you just kind of want to have availability there.
In I'd say these are FFPC very deep benches. A lot of these are like 20-round drafts, which means you get all those bench spots. I think you got to drop. I would say drop 20, 25%. Just make sure, because you're also making sure somebody else doesn't get him. Because this guy, if he's gonna, I watched this guy finish QB6 when he threw for 2,200 yards. So if he's on pace for 3,500 passing yards this year, QB6 again is definitely within the range of outcomes.
All right. Based on the time right now, Coop, and the amount of questions that we've got, this is our favorite time where we say we're going to go rapid fire. Let's try and mean rapid fire. How's that sound?
I've been incredible at rapid fire.
Would you trade away Jordan Mason and roll with him and see what happens with CMC?
Do not trade Jordan Mason.
Do not trade him. No. Andrea says hi, everyone. We say hi.
Andrea.
Any upside to full point PPR for Tyrone Tracy if Singletary can't go?
On DraftKings or in a one and done league that's very shallow. But in your real leagues, I mean, there's got to be a lot of flex spots for you to enter that world, Paul.
Here we go. Eric says, would you guys trade Wan'Dale Robinson to the Neighbors manager for Caleb or Rodgers as preparation in case A-Rich can't go on Sunday? I mean, I would do that.
In single QB, I just piece it together for 1 week.
Okay.
Yeah, Wan'Dale's got a lot of targets, Howard.
All righty. I hear they're benching Daniel Jones. Mile High Luke says botanical extraction. It says start 1, flex, Judy, Wicks, Whittington.
Not Whittington. Judy's been very serviceable.
Yes. Consistent targets. If it's full point PPR, which I believe it is in the FFPC, that's the way you go. Here we go. Yo, what up with your Mark Andrews call, Drew?
I think Drew would be referring to me.
I think so, because
MG403. Just so you know, I let my friends call me Andrew or Coop. So no Drew here, but yeah, Mark Andrews. They haven't been throwing the ball at all. They've only had 2 and 3 completions the last 2 games because Derrick Henry's running all over everybody.
Running all over.
Why you don't got to throw if you don't got to throw? So we'll see. We'll see what happens with him moving forward. Him and John Harbaugh say that he's going to have his games. So we'll see when he has them.
He'll have his games when they don't need to run the football.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to.
Basically what I did in the Yin and Yang tight end article, go check it out. It's on Fantasy Alarm, the waiver article. We took Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews and we moved over to the Yang side. We're not dropping him. We might start somebody else this week, or we might just start them if we don't have a roster spot to start somebody else. Simple as that. I'm not dropping those players. They're too good.
Stafford or Daniel Jones?
Stafford.
The Raiders' dumbest decision was bringing in Tom Telesco. Yes, probably.
Absolutely.
Let's get to the questions here. Addison or Deontay?
I'm still starting Deontay. He's looking like a wide receiver 1. As crazy as that sounds.
Freiermuth or Pitts?
Freiermuth, if you have both. Muth has been very consistent. The most consistent.
Christian Kirk, Deebo Samuel, Kareem Hunt, Amari Cooper need 2.
I would
Cooper's
go
definitely in there.
Yeah, Amari Cooper and Deebo. Go upside if you have that many good options.
There you go. Sharbs or Rico Suave in PPR? Got to go Rico.
Yeah, Sharb's back to bringing out Gatorade to Kenneth Walker. RIP to my 2-touchdown king from week 2.
Rodgers against the Vikings in London or Bo Nix against the Raiders at home?
Rodgers still.
Yeah, it's gross, but still, agreed.
All right.
Would you trade Terry for CMC? My wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr., Deontay Johnson, Xavier Worthy.
If you have not, if you just, yeah, I think I actually would. I think I would.
I would take that shot,
Do
right?
it,
See if
yeah.
he comes back from his asymmetrical Achilles
If you
injury.
could just win the league, because it makes your life a little easier. You still have crazy start-sit decisions.
Exactly. Next one here. Can we trust Tolbert this week against Pittsburgh with Brandon Cooks being out? I guess you can.
Trust is a strong word, but you can start him.
Z Smitty says his team right now. Bigger. Oh, we're still on that trade. We already told you to do it.
Do it.
Hollywood Titan says your dingus is here.
Hey, Hollywood, dog. What up, man?
Shout out to
the Vols.
Burkus, understand he's watching in Cubs Carini shirt. That is right. That is my my fish shirt here from the Cubs. And this was actually from Go Sox, please. This is a fish shirt, dude. It's not Boston propaganda.
This is
Burkus already also sent me this shirt. So
this is a gas station. This is a gas station sign.
You are a gas station.
You're a towel.
You're a towel. James Keefe says he's got Ferguson. Is it okay to drop Andrews now? Rather have the lottery running back like Bigsby. Bigsby is not a lottery running back.
Mm-mm.
I'm not dropping Andrews, but
no.
Yeah.
Bigsby takes over for one of the worst teams in football. What happens next?
It's called game flow out. Mile High Luke says flex 1, Tolbert, Gibson.
Yeah,
might get Trey Tucker off of waivers tonight.
Ramondre Stevenson has now fumbled to 4 straight games, but I still don't think that they're just going to all of a sudden give Gibson the keys to the car. I think I'd just start Tolbert.
Me too. Rich McEwen says Fields or Murray this week. And yes, Howard, that is me sitting at 4-0 on top of 2 of my 3 beat bender leagues.
Yeah, I still have Murray ahead. I've seen some people move Fields way up, and I'm just not comfortable with that.
Well, it's because they watched Lamar Jackson just run all over them.
Yeah.
Fields is not Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I'm going Murray.
Yeah.
Fred Warner might be out for 49ers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, yeah, here we go. More Tyrone Tracy stuff here.
Love him.
Everybody wants Tyrone Tracy to be something. This is like big fantasy is like creeping in.
Howard, he's a converted wide receiver that plays running back, and he has a cool name.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Conditions are perfect.
We're back to this question from Shane. What if I could just trade Garrett Wilson for Jaden Reed? No.
It's a little too lateral, but yeah, I don't think I would.
Again, 1 for 1 at the same position. You're basically saying that I think that this guy sucks and your guy's better. And then the other guy's saying, I think my guy sucks and your guy's better. Like if you're that down on Garrett Wilson, go ahead, make that deal. But if the Jets don't get Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson's target share goes to where it's supposed to be, where are you at with that trade?
The only time you should be trading wide receivers straight up one for another is if one of them's hurt, or in 2 or 3 weeks from now, if one team is absolutely desperate with bye weeks and cannot lose. That's the only time I'm doing wide receiver 1 for 1s. Otherwise, I'm sticking with the guy I drafted or added because I believe in that player. What has changed for either of those players?
LeBoss 101, Wicks, Leggett, or Robinson, long-term and short-term?
Leggett is the guy. Robinson is still only a 60 to 70% snap guy. Legette's playing the whole game. And with Wicks, Christian Watson could come back and people are saying that like, oh, he's going to pass him. It won't matter. When Watson comes back, if they just go back to rotating, that's enough to hurt his upside. I think Legette's just taking that job. He's going to run with
Yeah. Jerome Ford or Chase Brown?
This week's
Ford for me.
Ford, yeah.
It's Ford for me. It's like in order for A-Rich to play good, he has to get hurt to do so.
Kind of not a crazy statement, Millie Mills. Like every game that he gets hurt, he puts up
Chris
numbers.
Diaz won $60K on FanDuel. Good job,
Let's
Chris.
go, Chris. Fire up the engines, bro.
Right? Like where is that screenshot in the Fantasy Alarm Discord, Chris? Come on, baby. I want to see that.
I wonder if he posted it. Posted in the winner's circle. I know Mile High Luke was posted a couple nice ones in there. A nice little 4K hit in the winner's circle. Yeah, so I saw that puppy.
Darnold or A-Rich this week?
A-Rich if he plays. Darnold is playing the Jets.
Yeah. Shakir, Downs, or Kareem Hunt? Start one in the flex.
If it's half PPR, I'm gonna start Kareem Hunt. So if this is the same league, it's half. I'm gonna start Kareem Hunt. If it was full, I would start Josh Downs.
All right. Let's see what do we got here. What's up, guys? Need 2 wide receivers in a flex. Ayuk, JSN, Wicks, Worthy, Javonte. Full PPR for 1 point for first downs as well.
I'm gonna start Ayuk and Worthy. Go big, and then
you get a flex too.
Then I would start JSN. Javonte scares me.
Even throw JSN over Wicks.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Ayuk, Worthy, JSN, Jonathan.
Geno Smith kind of rocks, dude.
Stroud or Jordan Love this week?
I have Stroud ranked ahead. And I have Stroud ranked top 4. I like Stroud. It's good. He's getting tanked all back.
Tight end premium rest of season. Otten or Eric Alt?
Upside
is most important.
They're both behind 2 wide receivers, but at least Otten plays every snap. Even if he drops the ball and fumbles it, Otten is the guy.
Yep. Can we start Bucky this week? Yeah, I mean, you can. Just depends on who your other options are, but I'm fine starting Bucky against Atlanta.
He got more work, like they said.
Captain Freak, 843. Half-point PPR. This seems like a no-brainer, but was offered Garrett Wilson for Brian Thomas Jr. and Najee. See, here's the thing. I don't think you need to make this deal. Because you've got Lamb, Olave, Evans, Shaheed, Brian Thomas Jr., Romeo Doubs. You're covered for your bye weeks. You've got high-end talent here. Like, you don't need to add Garrett Wilson at the expense of your depth. I'd rather keep that depth.
Got a good mix of depth and upside, actually. I mean, it's like sometimes you just got the formula already.
Yeah. Boom. Tyreek Hill. I'm sure that's Taysom Hill, Tyler Conklin, or Parkinson.
I'm sorry, Colby Parkinson. He's had some bad matchups. He's getting 5. He's got 7 targets in these games. Like, he's playing Fred Warner. He's playing tough matchups. This is a better matchup. I think this is where we see Colby Parkinson actually catch a bunch of passes.
All right. Beautiful. I have Adams and Wilson. Should I trade one of them in case Adams goes to the Jets? I mean, yeah, what kind of value are you going to get for either one of these guys right now? Like, be careful with that.
If anything, trade Wilson, because if they're on the same team, it hurts Wilson more.
Yeah,
because Adams is because Aaron Rodgers is an ass. That's why.
What do I got here? I got drop Charbonnet for Whittington in week 5 flex. Yeah. Why are we all in on Whittington? Did something report come out that Whittington is moving up to the number 1 spot?
He led the team in targets, and people don't realize that Demarcus Robinson, he got a pass on a 2-point conversion, and the coaches view that as a look, but it doesn't show up in the box score. So people think Demarcus Robinson is completely phased out now. I'm just going to stick with Charbonnet. We saw how good he could be with Walker's hurt, and Walker. I mean, if they're going to use Walker the way they did on Monday, then I mean, how long can he hold that up? He was literally wrestling with a guy.
Jacoby Myers or Pittman? I don't think Flacco's throwing 60 times, Dan, but I'm still in on Pittman here.
Dan Schwartz, man. If Flacco plays, he might throw 60 times. So I'm Pittman.
Oh, it's somebody else responding there.
Go,
Blah,
yeah.
blah, blah. Here we go. Getting through it. Oh, this could be the last one here. Shakir for Leggett or Trey Tucker?
Let's just hit a bunch real fast right away. No, keep Shakir.
Okay. Tolbert with Cooks out, Sermon or Zeke?
Sermon.
Stream Lawrence or Carr this week?
Lawrence.
Pick up running back. Which one?
Tyrone Tracy.
Sit one.
Sit Worthy. The other two are getting peppered.
Should I drop Charbonnet for Whittington?
No.
Need one. Pittman, Addison, Moss, or Justice Hill?
Zach Moss, and that's it.
Zach Moss, and that's it?
Yeah.
Nope. Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr.
Right. And that's it. There we go. If we didn't get to your guys' question, listen, hit up Coop. He is at where are our handles here? There we go. Let's hide this.
Yeah.
There you go. At Coop A Fiasco, at Roto Buzz Guy. You can hit us up on Twitter at any point whatsoever. If you don't subscribe to Fantasy Alarm, zap that QR code that you see right up there in the top corner, or go to fantasyalarm.com/all-pro. When you sign up for either the monthly or the annual, we'll give you a 7-day free trial. That gets you access into our Discord, gets you all of our content that we've got there over at fantasyalarm.com. And just come and ask us all your start-sit questions over there. Tomorrow before the game, so from what is it, 6 to, what is it, 8 to, what time are you guys? Oh, it's John and Pemba and Eric Romoff.
Yeah.
And they're on from
7
to 8 p.m. Eastern right here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube channel. Coop and I will be 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. For Andrew Cooper, I'm Howard Bender.